Hey guys, Josh Inkin here, creator of the DVRT Ultimate Sandbag Core Training System. I want to show you today some really great core DVRT drills that you can do with your USB. They're very unique because we're going to look at basically the chop and lift pattern. For those of you that are unfamiliar, a chop and lift is basically a PNF pattern, a diagonal pattern of coming across the body. A lot of therapists use this modality to sort of see if we can maintain a rigid lower body and midsection during the movement of a weight across our frame going up and down. Obviously, during a lift and chop, the weight's varying upon the stress upon different structures of our abdominals. So basically, we have to learn to turn on and turn off certain structures as the weight's moving up and across our body. We're going to take that concept though and use it with a USB, and we're going to use a series of basically starting with really focused core drills and then moving you to really dynamic exercises. So we're going to start you with a kneeling around the world. The around the world is our version of a lift and chop, and it's a little bit more dynamic because we're going to, instead of going just down and across the body, we're going to come up and around the body. So digging into the toes, having a nice L frame with your body like Jessica has, you're going to slowly move the USB around the body. The key here is making sure that the elbows don't come away from the frame and that you don't move too quickly. So what you're going to look to is make sure you don't twist or rotate the body as the USB comes around your frame. You're going to dig into those toes to utilize the glutes and hamstrings a little bit. Make sure you don't flex and make sure you don't rush to the drill. You want to think about moving the USB as close to your body and hitting points such as the right between your shoulder blades to really open up the body and provide full resistance so that the trunk has to work not just producing force here, but resisting force coming back. We're going to show you a couple more progressions in just one moment. Now, we've shown the rotational lunge quite a few times, but a lot of people really underestimate the value of this drill. This is basically a lift and chop in a very dynamic manner. So where we're trying to maintain a rigid torso and lower body, we have this really hard force coming back and forth to us, really pulling us. So it's that lift and chop coming again, and the amount of lift and chop we get is going to be completely dependent upon the amount of force we create from the ground. But we have a much more unstable body position, so at first we're going to want to yield to a very small amount of sway of the USB. So let's break it down for you. So when Jessica goes in drop steps, she's going to rotate to one side of her body. Now at first we're going to just have her go slowly from side to side. Now if you go slowly, we're just introducing that sort of really mini lift and chop section because we've got such a extreme unstable body position. And if you notice, this is almost a half kneeling position when we're doing a lift and chop. So you're really getting a dynamic action on multiple fronts. As she were to slowly get a little bit better, she can add a little bit more swing. And what is this going to do? This is going to increase the intensity of that lift and chop. So now as she's moving the body, she has more decelerative and accelerative forces acting upon her trunk. So a lot of people don't even realize that rotational lunge is a very powerful core drill as it is a metabolic and lower body exercise. All right, the third version of the lift and chop in our series is going to be an inside out snatch. So obviously this is a very high level movement. So we've sort of progressively shown you how to take a lift and chop from a very isolated and foundational point to a very dynamic exercise. So just as we grab onto her snatch grip handles and start from the top down, what she's going to do is she's going to hinge back in the strong position, which is her bilateral position. She's going to quickly pivot and snatch the USB over her head. She's going to come back down, right back to catch it in this stable position. So what you're seeing is this hip pivoting as she comes across and she locks the weight overhead. If you look at the trajectory of the USB though, it looks again, this lift, and then we have a decelerative chop coming down. So what she's doing though is she's adding more complexity of movement because now her body needs to rotate, create rotation, absorb force at different angles, and make sure she absorbs a higher force coming down upon her body. The cool thing is you can make this into a really effective circuit just through these three movements, doing about 30 seconds of work of each exercise, and really not only doing a corrective exercise program, but you're doing one that stimulates so many muscles at once, you're doing metabolic training, and really you're teaching the body how to become a more functional and integrative system.